Hey everyone, welcome back for episode 25 of He Said, She Said. I'm your host, Sierra.
And I'm Eric.
And this week we're going to be talking about another conspiracy theory.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about the Mandela Effect. I'm not too sure if I would consider this a conspiracy or not, but, before we dig into this topic, I guess we should make sure everybody knows, what we're talking about when we say the Mandela Effect. The Mandela Effect is a popular and heavily debated type of false memory. It refers to the situation in which many people thought an event occurred when it did not. This could be anything from a logo, a saying, a quote in a movie, or even a moment in history, right?
Yeah, but it started with Nelson Mandela.
Yes, and I have that noted here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Eric is in my seat tonight because I wanted to prove a point that my setup is so jacked compared to his, and he's already bumped like 3 things.
Yeah, I just have to find the right. I'm also not in my
It doesn't
comfy
matter.
chair. It does matter.
It doesn't.
It does.
No, it doesn't, because that's what I deal with.
Right, but if I had my chair and
No.
I was able to get it all squared away how I wanted, I'd be fine.
We need to move my mic stand, I think. Anyways.
So it is likely that you have experienced the Mandela Effect in one way or another.
I mean, even your brother that's not, a conspiracy theorist in the slightest, it got him at Walmart the other day.
Yes,
got him.
it did.
Yep.
So in a 2020 memory study by the Journal of Psychological Science, it was found that when asked to recall information, 76% of participants made at least one detectable error.
Crazy.
Yes.
So I don't really remember the first time I looked into the Mandela Effect, but I want to say, I think that Fruit of the Loom was kind of the first one that blew my mind, because I 100% without a shadow of a doubt remember it having the cornucopia.
Yep.
And it says it never did. And I was like, what? And then
you started going back and looking at other things.
Yeah, and I looked at a few things, and I know that later on in the episode you're gonna ask me some questions and stuff, and I feel like I'm kind of not the greatest person to do this, because I already know a lot of the
We'll see.
Mandela.
I think there's some good ones in here.
Okay. Even the Mandela, Nelson Mandela, I was like, there's no way I was alive when he was still alive, but he died in the 90s.
Yeah, okay. So you're stealing everything that I'm about to talk about. There's 3 prominent features of the Mandela Effect, and that's recalling entire events that really didn't happen.
Oof. Okay, sorry.
Warped memories with some truth and some falsity, and then unrelated people share almost identical inaccurate memories.
Yeah, it's crazy. So my friend sent me one recently. I'm not going to say what it is because I'm sure we'll cover it in a minute. But she didn't even, it's funny how you ask, because it's hey, tell me this.
Yeah.
And I explained it detail word for word, and she's like, nope, apparently that never happened. I'm like, that is lies.
What friend was it?
Stephanie.
Okay. So we want to talk a little bit about how the Mandela Effect came into play. Sierra kind of touched on this a little bit, but the term was coined in 2009 when Fiona Broome had started a website kind of observing this phenomenon, right? And Broome had gone to a conference and was talking with other attendees about the tragedy of prior South African president Nelson Mandela and his death in the South African prison in the 1980s. Well, Nelson Mandela, in fact, was released from Victor Verster prison on February 11th, 1990, after 27 years.
That is so crazy. Because, like I said, I feel like I was born in 94, and I feel like I thought he died too. For the longest time, and I don't know why, a child would, hear about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember oh yeah, well, he's dead.
Yeah.
No.
So, and then he passed away in his home in 2013 at the age of 95.
And see, maybe that's where I learned it, because maybe we were taught it in school or something that he died, because I graduated in 2012 in high school. So maybe I had to have learned about him at some point.
So I never saw it, but there was a movie that came out, right, called Mandela or Nelson, about his life and all of his time in prison. I'm not sure, if maybe that movie kind of, made it look like he died in the prison. That could be a big part of it. But again, I've never seen the movie. But I still also thought that he did die in a prison.
Yeah. So as far as why it's called the Mandela Effect, I don't really think too many Gen Z know about it. I think they just think it's something weird. I think they know about the Mandela Effect. I just don't think they know why it's called Mandela. They probably just think it's something completely random.
Yeah.
But, all right, so I like this one. So Eric's question written down on our outline, it's, go ahead and ask it.
Do you think it is a conspiracy within a conspiracy and he really did die in prison and a clone was released that looked like him?
All right, so I don't think the clone part, but I do like the conspiracy within a conspiracy because my thought was he did die in prison, like a lot of people thought.
Right.
And then we jumped timelines. And that's the whole thing. That's the whole point of the Mandela Effect, is that we jumped timelines. And now in this timeline, he didn't. He was released. And that's what I think. And that's honestly, I don't care how many people look at me like I'm crazy. I freaking, and the same thing with like deja vu.
So you think they turned the machine on and pop? We shifted timelines.
You're talking about CERN?
Yep.
Well, yeah, but that was this year. I'm talking
but they did it prior too.
I know, but I'm just so, and same thing with like deja vu. Like people experience deja vu, and I've had such vivid deja vu that I can literally like in my head like this is deja vu, and then I'll think, okay, this is gonna happen next, and it freaking happens. So I guarantee that we jump timelines.
So, it's funny that you say this is gonna happen, and then it happens. I was playing cards with my buddies this past week.
Oh right.
And it's like. It's called nighttime baseball. I know you say it's a drinking game. It's a card playing game for me and some of my buddies. And so one of the guys flipped over a jack, and I had to flip over a card and beat it, right? So I said queen, flipped it over, and it was a queen. So then it came back around to me, and then I was like, okay, this time I'm going to let you pick my card. And I said it's going to be a wild card. He kind of fishes around, and then he picks a card, and sure enough, it was a wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, just like what you're talking about the coworker that you have that was like having a baby, and you said it was actually a really nice name.
Oh yeah.
And I said one name, and then I said Kalina.
Yep.
I've never in my life heard that name. I've never heard anyone name their child that. And I was like, is it Kalina? And you're like, holy shit, I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And plus I was a little stoned when I did that. So I was like, oh, I am for sure on this timeline. Like, facts.
Man. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, it's an interesting, idea, I guess. You're going to say conspiracy, and I'm going to say idea.
I can't even say conspiracy because, like, I don't know. I do believe it. So
the whole timeline hopping.
Hell yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. So we're going to go over a few examples, and I'm going to let Eric take the lead here.
Yeah. So, this really recently, I guess, 2019-ish has kind of become a trend, largely related to like pop culture and logos and everything like that.
Yep. And I'm going to try not to look at the
outline.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm going to rattle off a few Mandela effects. I want your answer. Okay. So peanut butter, Jif or Jiffy?
So I remember like the jingle, choosy moms, choose Jiffy. What? Why'd you look at me like that?
It's Jif. Apparently, back in the day, people swear there used to be a Jiffy peanut butter, but it's likely they were combining Jif with Skippy.
No, they're just trying to tell us that we're combining them to make us not
It has
realize.
Never been Jiffy. I do not ever remember Jiffy. It's always been Jif.
Babe, I remember
J-I-F.
No, I remember seeing. I can visualize the red cap.
It's got a blue, green, and like red little square in it, and it's J-I-F.
Choosy moms, choose Jiffy.
Choose Jif.
What? Okay.
Okay, you're 0 for 1. Next one. Looney Tunes, Toons, or Looney Tunes, Tunes.
Okay, so I know, again, for a fact it was Toon. And I know that they say that's wrong because this is one of the ones that I've like been mind blown about. But I freaking remember the Looney Tunes characters popping out of the O's. Don't you?
I don't know. It's Tunes. It makes no sense considering cartoon is Toon, but believe it or not, it's Tunes. It's Tunes.
In this timeline, it is. But nope, it's been the Toon.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, here's one that we recently saw. Getting books for Alaric. Berenstain, T-A-I-N bears, or Berenstein bears, T-E-I-N.
So I think it was like stain, like
like stain your clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was Berenstain, like stain your clothes.
But
However,
it's like I can also picture the books with the EIN.
See, now, I'm not sure if it was, my parents
I think I just
reading.
said it Berenstain.
Yeah.
But I think it's the way that it was spelled was STEIN.
No, it's STAIN. Berenstain Bears.
Man, see, I think even my brother was with me on this one because we said it Berenstain. But
that's right.
Yes, but
you think it was spelled the other way.
Yeah.
See, I feel like when my parents read me the books, they would always say Berenstain Bears. So that's why Steen. That's why I feel like it was Berenstain Bears. I never looked at the books and the titles and everything like that, and not until we got one for Alaric, last month.
Yeah, and how is it spelled?
STAIN. Berenstain Bears. Okay, here's a interesting one. Curious George.
Yep.
Did he have a tail?
Yes.
No.
What?
Believe it or not, he did not have a tail. I'm still unsure of this one. It makes me want to go back and watch old cartoons.
No, he did.
He did not have a tail.
Well, that's false.
Oh my gosh, you're mind blown right now, aren't you?
Yes, because I can again picture the cartoon and his little tail like blowing in the wind as he's walking.
I know. We both are imagining the Curious George with a tail.
No, we're not imagining it. It happened. We shifted timelines. In 2000, Y2K really happened is when we shifted timelines.
Okay. Febreze or Febreze? Does it have one E or two E's? Don't look at the outline.
I'm not.
Cheater.
I can't read that fast. I think it's Free Breeze. So two E's? What? I know it's Febreze. Like Febreze.
Yeah.
Febreze. With two E's.
So that's wrong. You would think that Febreze would have two E's in it because breeze, right? Breeze.
I think it's A. Breeze.
I don't know. We'd have to look it up. But regardless, Febreze only has one E in it. Okay, last one for you, and then you can read some off for me. Fruit Loops, Fruit.
Yep.
Or Fruit Loops, Froot.
I think it was always spelled fruit, like how you spell fruit.
Okay, so this one I actually knew because I always remember seeing 4 O's like on the Fruit Loop box, and like the O's are like the actual Fruit Loop. It is actually Froot, Fruit Loops.
So I was wrong?
Yeah.
I thought it was fruit?
Yeah. You thought it was fruit, Fruit. It's fruit, Froot.
Oh my gosh. This is awful.
Oh man. Did you get one of those right?
No.
I think the Looney Tunes one you did, but like you knew it was tunes, but you always imagined TOONS.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you read some off for me. I'm gonna scroll down to past that, and I don't know if I'm gonna remember these. I did this outline like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we're gonna take a few weeks off here from posting, I think, right?
Yeah, we're gonna do this one, and then we're just gonna have some sporadic posts here and there. Sierra and Alaric are coming to Vegas with me for 2 weeks for work. And then we've got some traveling coming up after that. Thanksgiving, we're probably going to be driving out to Indiana. And
it's busy for the holidays.
Yeah, it's going to be busy. And we don't know where I'm going for work next. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens, though. Maybe we'll be able to get a few episodes recorded and out.
Yeah, well, it was just like the last week or whatever you said, because we were going to start 2 podcasts, and you're like, well, then I realized it was too much for me to edit. And I'm like, oh, really? Because I said it was too much for me to handle. But
yeah, and work is getting super hectic. Like, I'm having to work 13-hour days. And
yeah. So, and I don't really love pre-recording episodes because I get lost in the sauce. I'm like, what episode are you posting today? So,
yeah.
All right. So, the Monopoly Man. Did he have a monocle?
Gosh, so this one, I'm pretty sure he didn't. But I don't know.
I think he did. I'm certain that he did.
Uh-huh.
But apparently he did not.
Okay, so he didn't have a monocle.
Nope. But that's bullshit because
I feel like in cartoons and stuff he has a monocle, but like on the board game Monopoly and stuff, I don't think I've ever seen him with a monocle.
No, I mean, yeah, not anymore, but like
not anymore. The board game's not gonna change.
No, like when they sell new ones, they come out with
so what if you've got one from the 80s?
My grandma does. We should go find it. And if it has a monocle, I will lose it.
What if it doesn't?
But you know what? So someone else said that there's this new phenomenon happening that you're either doubling objects that you should not have doubles of.
Yeah, you were talking about that.
Or you're losing objects. So
I lose objects all the time.
But like you literally, this girl lost her keys in her car. Gone. Vanished from thin air. And all she did was turn her car off. Like she has like an old school car, peasant car.
Old school. Still has a key. Yeah.
So she took the key out of the ignition and like laid them on her lap or something, and they vanished. She didn't even get out of her car yet. So it's like who's ever running this?
She clearly has a short-term memory issue.
Who's ever running this timeline is getting smart. They're like, man, they're finding out all these Mandela effects. We got to start taking that shit away.
Oh my gosh.
So guarantee we're not going to find it anymore, even though I know it's there.
Okay, go on.
All right. Pikachu's tail. Did it have a black accent on the top or no? Every day I look at a Lark's Pikachu, I'm like, you're wrong. You're freaking wrong.
Because you think it had the black accent?
Yep.
Again, it's so tough. It's like I go back to the cards and the TV show. It's like I feel like there was 2 different Pikachu cards and one of them did and one of them didn't.
We should ask Aaron.
We should. Yeah, we'll have to ask him after this episode. But yeah, so it's like
I'll text him and then we'll bring it back up.
I feel like one did and one didn't.
No, but I wasn't even like allowed to watch Pokemon, and yeah, I know. And I know he had a black tail.
Okay, well, move on to the next one while you're texting him.
Hold on, I gotta learn how to spell Pikachu.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Kit Kat. Is there a hyphen in Kit Kat or just one word?
I don't ever remember there being a hyphen.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let me just explain this to everyone who's listening. I have said over and over and over, Eric is a sim because nothing weird ever happens to him, kind of. And then he's like, too perfect. This man doesn't snore. Okay, let me just start there. So when I first met him, I was like, you're not real. Like, you're too nice. You're too cute. You don't snore. Like,
you thought I was dead a few times, right?
I did. And honestly, the first few times he stayed with me, I was like, he's not sleeping. Why isn't he sleeping? Is he staying awake to kill me? What's happening? Because you didn't snore. And again, you're a sim. Why would it not have a hyphen? I remember it having a hyphen because it's like, break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
Yeah.
And it had the break in the middle of it.
Was it just a space?
No, it had a chunk, and it almost kind of looked like a Kit Kat.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like in the commercials?
Yeah, and you would see it on the wrapper.
See, I don't know if I ever remember it on the wrapper.
Yeah, well, because you're a sim, and apparently it does not have a hyphen.
Oh, well, and then obviously I know this next one because this is the one we saw at the store the other day, right?
I'm at the Fruit of the Loom logo.
Oh, okay. This one I was with you.
Oh, yeah, the cornucopia?
Yeah, I totally thought that it had a cornucopia behind it.
Yeah, it just doesn't even look right.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't. I feel like that's all of the undershirts and the socks that I wore as a kid.
Yeah.
Was Fruit of the Loom.
Yep.
And I 100% remember the cornucopia.
Okay, this one I'm with you on. I totally remember the cornucopia, but
it's your sim player telling you to be normal so I don't suspect you anymore. She's on to us. Make him say something that agrees.
Yeah, okay.
All right. And then Oreos.
This is the one we saw at the store the other day.
This is the one that
pointed it out to you and Aaron. I was like, hold on, guys. We're in the cookie aisle.
And it kind of blew your brother's mind too.
Yes, it did.
And
he checked all the packages.
He did. I wish I was recording it because that would be hilarious. Because
that would be perfect to add to our Instagram and stuff.
Yes, because he is so not a conspiracy theorist whatsoever.
No,
not at all. But so does the double stuff have? We both know it. I'm not even going to ask it.
No, you still ask it.
Okay. The double stuff.
Yeah. STUF
or STUFF?
So I always thought it was STUFF.
Yeah.
2 Fs.
Me too. So did Aaron.
Yep. Believe it or not, it is only 1 F.
He said it was a typo or whatever he said.
Yeah, he said this must be a mistake.
Yeah. Yep. So very weird.
Oh.
All right. And then Star Wars fans. Let's see. So the C-3PO, was he all gold or did he have a silver leg?
Okay, so I was never huge into Star Wars. Don't hate me, everybody. But I do remember watching, the first Star Wars or something with Anakin and Darth Vader and C-3PO. And I don't know if it was just bad graphics. It was back in the 80s or whatnot when it was filmed. I remember all gold.
Me too. And I know that my little OCD ass would have noticed it. I would have been like, oh my gosh, that doesn't match.
Right?
So I for sure would have noticed.
Yeah.
But it's silver.
It's one silver leg.
Yep.
See, okay, so this makes me curious, like if we go back and look at like an old Star Wars toy, because I mean, the Star Wars toys are super popular and collectible. Yeah. Do you think that those Star Wars toys are going to have both legs gold, or do you think one of them might be silver?
If we would have done this like 5 years ago, I think we would have found that it was all gold, like everyone in this universe thinks. But now that we are onto them, I think they come in and like
replace everything.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Kind of kidding.
No, you're not.
People think I'm crazy.
She is.
But one of the ones that I recently found out too is Mona Lisa on here.
No, I saw that.
Okay.
I didn't look into it, but I didn't feel like adding it either. So what was that one?
So some people say she's smiling.
Okay, yep.
Some people remember her like not smiling. Like it's like a flat.
I don't remember her smiling.
Me either. And that's how like 99%. Yeah, she looked like a merc.
She looked like me in all my photos.
Yeah, seriously. But it's like she looked, upset or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Apparently not. Apparently
she is smiling?
She's smiling.
What?
Yeah. And I was watching Halloween Town with Alaric.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like a joke. And this was in 2002, I think.
When Halloween Town came out?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The second one was like Halloween Town High.
Yeah. Well, that's like the third one, but.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So anyways, it said something about, and I'll tell you why the Mona Lisa didn't smile. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I was like,
I forgot to replace it.
Yes. I was like, oh, and that's on Disney Plus.
And Disney's listening and they're going to replace that now.
Yeah. But you know what they did replace one time on Lilo and Stitch?
Oh my gosh.
No, seriously. They took out, do you remember the part where Stitch gets in the dryer?
No, I've seen that so many times.
They took it out because they said it's like unsafe for kids to like think they can get in dryers.
Yeah.
But I have the VHS that Stitch gets in the dryer.
That might be worth some money.
Well, and Lilo gets in it too. Lilo gets in the dryer.
Oh no.
Anyways.
Oh. Anything else?
I'm trying to think of the other. There was a few Mandela effects too that I.
Oh yeah, I mean, I saw like a list of 40 of them, but I only picked a few out.
Yeah.
So whether or not this is a conspiracy or not, I'm not sure I believe that it's like a conspiracy.
Because you're a sim.
Sure, because I'm a sim.
He admitted it.
But clearly the Mandela Effect is something that happens to just about everyone. Like I said, I think I'm still on the fence as to if it's a conspiracy theory, just compared to random phenomenon. Because I do believe that there are random phenomenons every day, and, that is what it is. So, have you experienced this phenomenon? Were you shocked at any of the examples we talked about? Let us know in the comments on our social media at ACS Entertainment LLC. Click the link in our bio to find all of our episodes and get those great earthly products. Check out our YouTube, where we upload motivational tunes every Monday, children's lullabies every Wednesday, and ASMR sounds every Friday. Thanks again for joining us, and make sure you tune in soon for another new episode of He Said, She Said.
You know what I forgot to say?
What?
You know what's funny? 20,000.